Hello, YouTube fans, here again. And yes, I wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to talk about porn. But not any porn. Now, I remember talking about Debbie Does Dyers. Now I'm talking about the Impeters, Linda Lovelace. Now I'm not going to talk about adult films because he only really did one we all know about. That being Jeepfault from 1972. Jeepfault. I'm going to talk about the history of the movie, about the star, and so on. Why not? Why not? So, Default was the first, I should say, the first legalised hardcore porn, because we all know hardcore porn was going in the golden days of the silent movies. But pornography, believe it or not, pornography was illegal. There was no law. If you were taught in that era with a naughty film, you would have gone to prison. That's right, you would have gone to prison just for having an everyday porno. But at the time decided to legalise it, and the first one to get legalised in America was Cheap Folk. Like most adult films, they made a soft and hardcore version. For its time, Cheap Folk was shocking, it was this, it was that, but it made money, and as it made money, it got legalised. So there's a different type of law that you've got to be 18 and over to appear in the pornographic world of pornography. And Linda Lovelace made a name, and before you know it, porn also made a name. They made loads of adult films, that is. So we're going to go with Cheat Folk. During that era of 1972, it's basically about a woman who doesn't basically get enjoyment in the sexual of her sexuality. So the only way she can get enjoyment is she has a clitoris down her throat. And basically the only way she gets enjoyment is, so I'll put it in detail. B. Without putting it too graphic, I'm on YouTube, but that's the only way. There's a name Cheat Folk, I think you can sum it up. So Linda Lovelace made a name for herself. But the two part of the story is she also had a sad life. She had an abusive relationship, she had an abusive boyfriend, she had abusive everything. And it was kind of sad really, you know what I mean? She had a sad life. And she also had a miserable childhood. She was abused a lot when she was a child. Like I say, her boyfriend beaten her. And over the years of doing Cheat Folk and the big success of it, I think that in 1974, they did sort of a sequel. Wasn't as successful as the original. But have you ever seen Cheat Folk? It's definitely is typical 70s style, 70s hairstyle, dodgy 70s shirts. I also remember some of the music in it. Definitely a lot of people definitely liked Linda Lovelace. Let's just say she was a very talented lady in the sense of, without going into detail. So, yeah, it definitely became a popular film. But then over the years, during the late 70s to the early 80s, people never saw Linda Lovelace. She disappeared from the scene of pornography. And it was only in the late 70s, early 80s, Linda Lovelace started to do away and had to ban pornography. She was disgusted in what she did. She was ashamed. There was a lot of history that she didn't enjoy any of the Rampang Fighting Man, or any of the hardcore scenes, or any of it. And she had to do away with pornography. And it's also sad in one way because even though pornography was legalised, it's still like having a criminal record. She had to get a job, an everyday job, and every job she tried to get, she got the sack. So when somebody discovered the Liberous Cheat Folk, she got the sack. So it's sort of sad in one way. I mean, Linda loved this. She tried to make it big enough for a career, tried to do away with porn. Basically tried to get a job. Never got to be. Never got to be. And as we know over the years, she tragically lost her life in an horrible car accident. And sadly, Linda Lovelace is no longer with us. May she rest in peace. But in all fairness, Linda Lovelace is famous. You know what I mean? A lot of people always remember in the film Cheap Folk. So it's like I say, I'm going to go with the story. It's like I say, it's about a long day. She's sexually frustrated. She cannot get aroused. She has a mate on the way. There's a bit of sex here, a bit of sex there. I'm not going to say too much. It's definitely hardcore. Then she still can't get no enjoyment. So then she meets a guy on the way called Dr. Lung, who's a well-known porn star. very famous, now a very wealthy businessman, believe it or not. And he told her about her having a tittler's on the back of her phone. And the only way she can get enjoyment, ready for this? I might get a naughty letter, a blowjob. Yep, the only way she can get enjoyment is a fucking blowjob. But it's porn, I went with it, you know what I mean? It's traffic, it's in your face. You've got a bit of typical music every time you get to that exciting bit. And basically that's all it is then. It's just one bang thank man. But with Cheatful, it has for a bit of humour in it. So you could say the story's cheesy, it's torn, even though I don't like that word, I can get away with it in this one. It's cheesy. Then you got one lad in it, pretends to be a wobber. He wants to marry Linga Lovelace, but he can't have a 9-inch, so I put it in detail. She pulls his pants down, gives him oral, happy ending, end of fucking movie. And it's just a typical adult film. It's a typical pornographic film in the early 70s, being 1972. But Cheatful, it was popular. Like I say, they sort of made a sequel. With the sequel, they tried to make it more of a sex comedy, didn't rub off. And I do know in 1976, it did when they did the remake of King Kong, it was also mentioned Cheatful, which I also thought was quite funny. But like I say, Linda Lovelace made big, adult movies made big, had other adult stars, whether it be Mannequin Chambers and other adult stars, whether it be Tracy Lloyd and so on. So when you think about it, so, you know what I mean, it became popular at that time. And, you know what I mean, like I say, you had other adult stars, whether it be Manning Chambers, and then we got to the 80s, Tracy Lloyd, even well-known adult male stars. But because of Cheatful, it changed the history of the adult movies. It changed the history of pornography. Pornography became legalised. At first, believe it or not, Cheatful was shown in an everyday theatre. Everyday theatre, and a lot of people watched it out of a novelty. You know what I mean? Everyday people watched this little adult film. And that's when they decided to make the adult theatre, being the sex theatre. We're all adults there, 18 and over. But I gotta laugh. But yeah, I've seen it. I've seen the uncut one. It's nothing to run home about. In today's era, it would just be considered pornography. And there's a lot more stronger things out there than G4. There's a lot more stronger things out there than that over there. But it did change in history. I mean, hardcore is here to stay. Even though in the early 80s you had Ronald Reagan, the president, kind of do away with hardcore porn, but no matter what, in every country, it's around, it's worldwide. Whether you've seen hardcore, whether you've been to a mate's house, whether you had a video where you can get the technology changes, DVD, you can now download and watch it on the internet. You can hear me say that. And so on. But Default was the one that changed the history and changed the history of an icon being Linga Lovelace. And it's like I said, it's also a seedy side of it, you know what I mean? Over the years, she's never liked Cheatful. And she's changed, she's been raped in front of the camera. And she started to do away with it. But, you know, it is what it is. And she sadly lost her life. And it's very sad. But Cheatful changed the history. That's more of a biography of Linga Lovelace. But into them, be smart, be safe. See you later.